Human rights are for everyone. They're the bedrock of our society. To ensure they don't get overlooked, we need to know them and understand their importance. It's up to each and every one of us to give them meaning. We support initiatives that promote and protect the fundamental rights of every member of society. And that starts with the people who want to make a difference for their community, who are committed to shaping our world. Like Özge, Hairire, Vlad and Irene, people behind inspiring projects funded by Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein through the EEA and Norway Grants. Here are their stories.
My name is Hairire Özge. I am working at the Home for Cooperation as the Communications Officer.
I'm Özge Özol from Cyprus, and I work at the Association for Historical Dialogue and Research, coordinating some of its educational and research programs under Active Citizens Fund.
The Home for Cooperation is a community centre in Nicosia, Cyprus. It was established by the AHDR to restore peace and build bridges between the Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots on the island.
We started the project to promote historical understanding and critical thinking among teachers, students, and the general public.
Hosting an extensive variety of cultural, artistic and educational programs, Home for Cooperation functions as a shared space for intercommunal cooperation and dialogue. The idea is that when people from different communities are given the opportunity to meet, share experiences and work together, trauma can be healed and divisions can be set aside.
Because such a place was non-existent until 2011, it created this only neutral space where people can actually come together and enjoy their time, plus work on issues that relates to the future of Cyprus.
One of the components of our project is education. We are developing educational materials that look at issues such as language and identity and gender and monuments. Through these materials also we enable teachers and students to come together. We provide opportunities for them to exchange opinions and practices and experiences on issues of common concern.
In peace building, giving out numbers or statistics are not always enough to explain the success of the work. So what we are looking for mostly is to see the substantial change and the observations and feedback we receive from people involved in our programs. In the last 10 years, we have seen that there is a sharp increase in the attendance of the people coming here. At the Home for Cooperation, we are trying to create the ground to achieve a better society in Cyprus that will be based on equality, peaceful coexistence, diversity, and human dignity. I believe this project and the Home for Cooperation itself creates a stepping stone for people who are still not ready to engage fully with the other community. And by doing so, it creates this middle ground for people to leave aside their differences, but also to have the space where they can be themselves. And seeing this firsthand, the change in people's lives, in their perspectives, is the main thing that makes me the most proud.
While Home for Cooperation is providing a shared space to heal divisions and understand one another, in Romania, organization Mosaic is helping young people learn to accept each other.
My name is Vlad Vishki and I'm the Executive Director of Mosaic LGBT Association in Romania. For the past decade, I have been fighting for LGBT rights in Romania.
Mosaic set out to ensure the safety, visibility and equality of all people in Romania, regardless of their sexual orientation, gender identity and other characteristics. Their project, Campus Pride, fights homophobia and transphobia and increases LGBTIQ acceptance in universities throughout the country.
Campus Pride focuses on advocacy of LGBT rights in universities in 3 major cities in Romania. We do this advocacy work by creating an index in order to evaluate LGBT inclusiveness in Romanian universities. Campus Pride was developed in the context of high levels of homophobia and transphobia in universities, a lack of safe spaces for LGBT people, the diversity of students participating in our project and in our activities is extraordinary. Students from all walks of life join together in solidarity in order to improve the situation of LGBT students. This project has a great impact on the LGBT community in Romania because it lays the ground for future generations of LGBT activists to develop in order to better their communities.
While Campus Pride encourages students to be who they are, over in Greece, House 2 helps a group of young people find a home where they are.
My name is Irene Chazapis. I'm 38 years old. I grew up in Athens. I've been working with socially vulnerable groups more than 15 years. I'm a project manager in House 2.
Among the many refugees in Europe, there are thousands of unaccompanied minors who are fending for themselves. The House 2 project is an initiative in Athens that offers long-term shelter for young refugees, providing a second home to this vulnerable group.
In House 2, children find a second house because their first one either was destroyed and they had to run, or they are now heading to this house because someone is waiting for them in a place in the world. During their stay in House 2, children will soothe their trauma up until their refugee journey will come to an end. House 2 is funded by EEA grants through the program Asylum and Migration, addressing urgent needs for the reception and screening of asylum seekers and for the accommodation of vulnerable groups.
House 2 is part of a housing network for underage refugees and has the ultimate goal to offer a new home, a second home, to all young people who need the care. During its 85 years of operation, the organization has hosted more than 2,500 boys aged 12 to 20 of various nationalities.
Our main goal is the protection of minors and youngsters who are in danger and in a state of emergency, regardless their origin, religious beliefs, or sexual orientation. We support children through a family model. We empower and support them for their next steps.
These projects are examples of what we can achieve when we work together. Our work in 15 European countries, made possible by the EEA and Norway Grants, unite us around the values we share: dignity, human rights, freedom, equality, democracy, and rule of law. They help reduce social and economic disparities and strengthen bilateral relations. Do you want to know more about these civil society projects, or do you have an idea for a project in your region? Visit eeagrants.org/civil society starts here.